Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the all-new Ghosts and Spirits Halloween Special Edition video. Well, I thought I would mix this one in here as a nice treat for all of my Ghosts and Spirits fans, as well as all of my fellow YouTubers out there, especially those of you counting on me doing something special here for Halloween. And so I thought to myself, why not just do one, but two special edition videos as a nice treat for all of you who have been fans of my YouTube channel here for a while, and of course, for all of the new subscribers that I have here as well. And what better way than to revisit one of my most popular videos, one that I did a couple of years back involving my ghost hunt there at the USS Lexington. Well, lo and behold, I've gone now back to that place twice. Not just once, but twice this year alone. And so I'm going to present a whole new set of evidence here, along with video clips and a revisit to a very controversial photo that I took back at the Lexington 4 years ago. It had to do with my supposed encounter there with Charlie, actual evidence of me capturing him at the engine room that he supposedly haunts. So lots of controversy with that photo because of all the information, all the comments that people posted on there. Plus, I thought it would be a nice way to revisit it because in reading all the comments from my past video, lots of people were posting great stuff that they encountered there at the Lexington, their own encounters, in other words, along with their own history and so on. So I thought to myself, what a great way to revisit all of this and make it a Halloween special edition video. So let's go ahead and let's do that here. In this case, it's my revisit, my ghost hunt there at the USS Lexington here in 2020. So here's how it occurred. So earlier this year, I visited the Lexington in February of 2020, and then also in September of 2020. One in February was when I went there as part of the group that I'm in, Spectre. And so this was more of a private group, a private investigation. And then the one in September was the one that I did in conjunction actually with the USS Lexington as part of an event that they were having there. They were going to have a big event there, lots of guests that were going to be there. Those are the people that were paying essentially to be a part of a mass ghost hunt, a ghost investigation for the night. And so I was able to go to that event too. So I'm going to present both pictures of that here and then also again evidence as far as video clips. But essentially, let's talk about first my trip there in February. So this was pretty neat too, because when we went in February, this was a fantastic way for me to revisit this place 4 years later. It's been 4 years since I last did so. And in fact, you're seeing here eerily, how it looks like in the evening as far as the USS Lexington. Beautiful looking ship still. If you haven't gone there, I highly recommend it. Not just going for the day tours, but if you can, try to go actually at night. Try to go up and sign up for the special ghost hunting trips too. They're actually led by this gentleman here that you're looking at. His name is Bill Miller. That's right. If you're here in Texas, you know that there's a very popular restaurant called Bill Miller's Barbecue. Well, that's essentially why he has a very memorable name. But he's someone that has been doing these type of tours involving ghost investigations for several years now, and he's really, really good at what he does. So there's a good chance you'll actually be able to take the tour with him, just like we did, and then that way you'll be able to experience all the rich history that he has to present associated with the actual boat. So we were very fortunate enough to have him on this tour, and he led us along the way. First stop that we went to was this place, which is actually the kitchen area / cafeteria room, something along those lines. This is more used now, I think, for events. So if you go there and if you happen to be in a big event, not like the one we went to, but something else more on the day side, then that's when you get to have something like this, where everyone gets to eat together in one place, and then they get to enjoy that. What was interesting here was in this room, we were doing part of some detections, especially on the EMF side, and then that's when we heard a noise through the far corner. As always, these things involving ghost hunts, you have to be at the right moment at the right time. I wasn't able to capture it, let's say on video or on photo, but at least the corner here that you're looking at, that's the one that we heard it. And then this machine here, a REM pod that we have as well, that one went off on its own as well. It's very sensitive to anything that would help set off paranormal activity, so it went off on its own as we were on the completely other side of the room. We do that every now and then just to make sure that there's no interference of any kind that we encounter, and it went off. And it's a really, really blessing when that happens because it goes off so rarely. In other words, nothing can really make it go off until it's something truly paranormal. And so we were able to see and hear it go off too. And then the next place we went to was down towards the brig. This is the actual area here where prisoners of war and then other prisoners, including fellow soldiers, those who are acting out of line, were brought deep down into the bowels of the ship and then locked in there. There's a lot of paranormal activity here because of the suffering and other type of encounters that, harsh encounters that prisoners had to go through. This is heavy on the paranormal side. So if you ever go on this tour, if you want to experience some things, then that's when you'll see it here. In fact, let me go ahead and I'll include the clip for it right here, right now. This clip showcases me in this room, in one of these isolated rooms by myself, and I had a night vision camcorder at the time, and I was able to record something, which you're going to see. It kind of hovers, it's an orb, in other words, it hovers outside of the actual gate, of the actual cell gate, and then it goes in. It's almost like hovering outside, like waiting on something. Like it wants to go in, but doesn't necessarily wants to think about it. But when it finally goes in, you go it slowly and methodically. You see it go inwards and go towards me, and then that was it. So I'll include the link for below, the clip for it, and then check it out here right now. Wasn't that neat? Wasn't that pretty cool? You got to see this clip of this thing, whatever it was, this orb, be right there outside the gate and then go right in. I mean, this is something that is just fantastic. This is the kind of evidence that fellow ghost hunters, all of us, definitely try to find. This is the kind of stuff that gets us excited when it comes to these investigations. So again, if you're going on this type of tour, be on the lookout for the brig. You're going to definitely get some good activity like we got there. And then traveling throughout the other parts of the ship, you're going to see a bunch of just nonchalant pictures here and there. Highly recommended whenever you're going on any tour, or if you're going on your own on these ghost hunts, to just take random pics everywhere, because there's a good chance that while something you're looking at now may not show something, it may actually have something appear afterward. Ghosts like to actually make their appearance known in pictures after the fact, and then also you may not see them in the actual photo, but then when you review it later on, there they are. They were there the whole time. You were just not able to see them with whatever the camera captures. Next part that we went to was this place. This is actually pretty creepy when you think about it. This is something more on the lines of my gruesome and grotesque type videos. But what you're looking at here, what looks like a tiny well of some sort, this was something involving a contraption. I think it was done to hold large amounts of rope, something like that. I can't remember exactly what Bill was mentioning, but he stated that unfortunately someone died within that actual place, within that actual well. Something, there was some kind of fight of something, and what happened was somebody hit someone really hard, knocked them out, and then placed them in there, and then they ended up dying, like almost like suffocating within that tiny little well. So when you go on that tour, be mindful, be respectful too, because here you have something along these lines where you have an potential encounter with something that is mad about their situation, but we didn't encounter anything really along those lines there, which was kind of fortunate on our end. But that is another area that is fraught with some kind of ghostly encounters. And then the next area we went to here, I don't really know how to describe it. It looks like a little mini museum within the actual USS Lexington itself. As you can see, there's a lot of glass displays tied there, and it showcases little memorabilia within them, little trinkets here and there. That's where we saw a shadow person. Well, one of us did actually. They saw the shadow person kind of move really quickly, like creeping along. That person knew that the shadow person was there because, as you can see from all the reflection in the glass, all of a sudden part of the glass reflection dimmed, like almost as if something was walking in front of it. It catches your attention, right? And when you see a glare, but then that glare is not there anymore, that's essentially what caused this distraction. And then that's when they saw very quickly a shadow person walk by that location. So this is another area where if you go, you may have a good chance of running into whatever wherever this location is, this mini museum, you might encounter, in other words, another shadow person there too. And then finally, I got a chance to go into the engine room. That's the one where Charlie is located at. That's the one that has the most famous ghost within the entire USS Lexington. Now, before I wanted to go that, let me show this picture here. This is the infamous picture, the one that I took back in 2016. As you can see in the circled yellow part, you see this white wispy looking thing moving across some monitor. And I stated at the time, and I still believe it, I did not see anything wispy, any cobweb like thing, any dust, anything that would cause that type of interference, whatever that thing was, in front of that monitor. You can clearly see it looks like something was moving in a ghost-like fashion from maybe the top, or from the bottom to the top. And when that happened, it caused whatever it was in the background to kind of like fade. So something was there and it was causing that type of wispy look in front of the monitor itself. And the people in the comments, though, my video were stating that no, it's cobwebs, it's a reflection. People have gone there and they've seen that white wispy thing itself lying there. In other words, I found that hard to believe just a little bit, only because there are no spiders there. There are no cobwebs around. Believe me, I've looked hard enough to try to see if there's any evidence of any kind of insects or something else deep within the ship to allow this thing to build, to allow dust to build, or to allow cobwebs to build to that degree. The ship is pristine. It is clean. It is so clean. It is amazing clean. It's amazing how clean it is considering how old it is, and again how many of these levels never really have any deep cleaning because it would just be too much work. It would be too futile, in other words. But somehow the ship stays in almost pristine condition because of the temperature inside and because there's no insects around. So check this out. This is a newer picture here, and as you can see, this is somewhere around the same area associated with it. You can kind of see how I think this is approximately the same location that I took the previous picture. Nothing there. Absolutely no single cobwebs. Nothing along the lines of something else blocking or interfering or causing a wispy-like thing in front of that monitor. Nothing. It is just completely dry. Like there is nothing there that would look or cause exactly what happened with the other picture. So to me, that is concrete evidence that I did capture something, maybe Charlie or something else, deep within the engine room right at that perfect moment. And maybe they were saying hello. Maybe they knew they were getting photographed, and then that's why they were able to present themselves. But again, I'd love to see what the people's comments are here as far as their own encounter in the engine room. And maybe if you go to that specific corner, let me know what you see as well. If you go to that ghost hunt, or if you go even visit it during the daytime, because when I caught that perfect picture of what I believe to be Charlie, it was during a regular day tour. It wasn't in any kind of ghost hunt per se at night. So that's at least something that I wanted to present here, and as a wonderful follow-up again for the 4 year later type revisit that I had here. So in essence, I wanted to show these other neat little pics too. These are more behind the scenes stuff associated with the ship, because the kind of areas that are off limits, not off limits because they're dangerous, but off limits because it's not really for the tourists to go to, but we got to experience it. That's one of the other benefits again with these private tours. But you can see that they had some Halloween decorations there back in February, how they're kind of tucked away whenever they're not being in use, and so that was pretty neat too. This other location that we went to, which has a very cool reddish glow to it, almost like straight out of PT when it comes to the infamous hallway, is this location. This is another area that is fraught with hauntings, especially with some bad entity that's there. I can't even remember what the guy's name was. I think it might have been Henry or something like that. But apparently he was not happy about being in that location. He's not happy about being on the ship. So if you go to that location, and I set up little mini cameras, especially one in this corner, there's a good chance that you might encounter him. I didn't see anything even on evidence afterward. So unfortunately, nothing really to report here. But just wanted to mention again as far as that encounter. And then this other place that we're visiting, just other locations involving, I think this was more of the wheelhouse that was used actually in Pearl Harbor. Nothing really paranormal here. This was more of like a little bit of trivia. If you're a big movie buff fan, especially of the movie Pearl Harbor, and then you get to see one of the original sets, but it was filmed on location here on the ship. And so this was one of the sets that was used within it. And then going back over to this location here, this was an area that we kind of saw a shadow person as well, something creeping along the sides. We got to sit down on these blue sofas and then get to enjoy some quiet time, sometimes talking amongst each other and then sometimes doing investigations. And then that's where we heard knocks, and then we also saw some shadow people moving in the far corner. I don't see them. I have very bad eyesight at night. Like, in other words, I can see things like bright lights and so on in cars, but darkness is kind of blotted for me. It's very, very hard for me to see anything in complete blackness, but others have much better sight. And so they were able to see more along that lines of whatever was moving in the far background. You might have even seen the live stream there too. So, but yeah, that was at least my February investigation. Good stuff there. Next one that I wanted to highlight was the one I did in September. So here's what occurred and here's how it happened. In September, building up to it, we had an opportunity for the group to go back out, but this time as part of an event. The USS Lexington was going to have a huge ghost hunt, one involving the public. People would come on by as long as they paid a ticket price, in other words, and then they could investigate for the night. And then there was another ghost group, a major one there that had a television show. I can't remember their names. I think it was something the brothers. If you're looking at them now, in fact, if you know what their names are, post them in the comments below, but that's them essentially. They were brought on board as a special guest of honor with regards to this investigation, and so they were able to spearhead the event, and then all of these chairs that you see here were actually filled with a bunch of guests, everyone there enjoying it. The only thing that was off about this event was who knew that in September it is so humid hot there in the Houston / Galveston / Corpus Christi area, because it was just brutal. Everyone was just sweating the night away when it comes to that. And then also there was a lot of people, my guess over 100 people there for the event. And what happens though is if you have too many people, then it kind of lessens the chance of having ghostly experiences, because for whatever reason, and the math always works, the more people you bring on board, the lesser chances of having of successful ghost hunts. Ghosts do not like lots of people. They like smaller groups. They like especially a handful of people at best. And so this is why I was fearing that they would have less success, and we didn't really have too much this go around. So there's not really much to show here with regards to any kind of fantastic, spectacular evidence, but at least I wanted to showcase, some extra pics from the event itself. One thing that did stand out is this. When we were into one part of the investigation, I was able to capture this. You'll see there's nothing there now, right? It's just completely blank. It just looks like I'm taking a picture of some common food cafeteria area. This is part of the main area on the top level, if you could call that level that, the top one, where when you first walk into the ship, there's a food court area and you can purchase some food and while you're a guest there. Well, look at this one. Same pic, same area, like a split second later, and here you can see something flying by on the bottom left-hand corner, and that was not there at all. In fact, it was so bright whenever it passed by, it even made me go, whoa, like whenever it passed by, like that's how bright it was. That's how bright it reflected on my actual screen. It was not a bug, by the way. I clearly know 100% what a bug would look like, not just on the pic itself, but also flying by me in the front of me. In other words, this, whatever it was, decided to purposely go straight to my camera and almost to the lens itself. Ghosts have been known to do this. If you ever try to take a picture at a paranormal place and it looks like it's really fuzzy when it shouldn't be, and clearly your lens is clean, that means that there is a chance a ghost went right towards your lens purposely to try to block it, almost as if like a person would stick their hand in front of a camera saying no pictures. That's essentially what this ghost was doing here. They do that because they don't want their pictures taken. They don't want people to take pictures of that location too. So that definitely stood out to me, and that was one of the bright spots there. And then part of the other investigation took us to places that I've already been to before, but some of the guests that we were leading, it was an opportunity for them to showcase areas that maybe they haven't visited before. Unfortunately, again, not too much to report on the ghostly side. There really wasn't anything except this. In fact, let me play this clip now. Here, you're going to see us we're in deep in the bowels of the ship in an area where the anchor would be let down. And as we were there towards the top level, we had just gone down from that area, going down to where we were now, and then nobody was left on top. So in other words, that top area is empty. Nobody is there. Nobody should be there. We're the only ones in that part of the ship, and we're away from that top location. Well, as you'll see in here in this clip, all of a sudden there was a knock that was made, and then when we asked whoever made that knock to come down, you're gonna see some things do so. What the first thing I see is more of a dust particle, but then you'll see this other wispy-like thing move about in a weird manner, like almost in an up-down-esque fashion, and it's not dust, and it's not something else. It's something completely different. It looks like an orb, but I've never really seen an orb shaped like this before. So check it out. I'm gonna play the clip now, and then you let me know what you think. All right, what did you think of that? Isn't that pretty neat? Did I actually capture a real orb, spirit, ghost, whatever this was, bouncing, in other words, from one area to another almost on command after we told that thing, whatever it was on the top floor, to come on down? And it did. It definitely made its presence known. You can even hear me, like you saw in the clip, say bingo, because I definitely captured something there. Very, very exciting. But that was pretty much it. That was like the best thing that I captured for that night, other than the previous orb, the one I was mentioning earlier that tried to block my camera. But yeah, that was the second trip that I took there to the USS Lexington. This time as part of that special event. And that's everything I wanted to mention for this special edition video. So hope you guys enjoyed this, fellow crypties, fellow YouTubers, those of you that loved my previous video at the USS Lexington, and those of you that are watching this new set of videos now. It just goes to show again what a difference a couple of years makes when it comes to capturing new evidence and revisiting old locations, trying to debunk things, in other words, and then make sure that you could try to see, what else is there that you haven't seen before, that maybe you can see for new, and then what else has been there before that you can revisit again, and then try to capture new evidence as well. Really, really fun stuff. Our plans are not done yet. We're going to try to revisit the USS Lexington sometime next year again on another overnight tour. Again, I highly recommend it. Go check out that place out. If you have to go through the daytime, that's fine. Just don't expect much activity during that. But if you go at night, that's even better. Try to get the special edition ones, the one involving the nightly ghost tours. And if you can, try to get Bill on. Bill Miller's again his name. Try to get him on as the investigative guide, the one that presents you to the ship. Not only because of that, but he knows that ship in and out. Like, he can take you to anywhere on that ship you request to, and you'll never get lost because he knows, he's been doing it for so many years there. He knows that area back and forth. So really, really great stuff. So, all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this special Halloween edition video, my revisit there at the USS Lexington. And again, please be on the lookout for my other video coming up soon. This one on the cryptids and monsters side, and this one having to do with evidence that I captured of La Lechuza. Finally, I captured evidence of a real life cryptid. Great stuff. Can't wait to share. I'm going to post it on October 31st. So be on the lookout for that soon. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.